Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to News 3 Now Live at 4 on this Thursday. Summer has returned.
Boy, windy and warm.
Humid.
Yeah, and we're watching the big storm in Florida. Do you have friends or family down there?
I have friends down there, yeah.
It's going to be a long Labor Day weekend.
Could be a Category 4 storm once it hits. We'll get to that in just a minute. But first, here's what's making news today. This Hurricane Dorian is in the path of millions of people across the state of Florida, where the storm could be a Category 4 by landfall.
Some lawmakers are working to make it easier for disaster assistance in our area.
And Milwaukee health officials are asking people to stop using vaping products completely after more people are hospitalized.
Let's take a look outside today. As Mark said, it felt like a storm was brewing this afternoon. This is a beautiful shot, though. I think this is Devil's Lake State Park, isn't it?
It sure looks like it. A little cooler are the weather words. Dana is in the backyard. We're watching some storms, but nothing here.
Nothing here right now, unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess I should say. This cold front is driving southeast, so that's why it's so windy outside. There's the chance, still a slight chance for some isolated showers and thunderstorms to pop up, mainly southeast of Madison. We've certainly had a few very dark clouds and very high clouds. Looking like it could be brewing for us, but most of the storms have really stayed off to the east. As you can see, our Doppler track over the last 3 hours or so, that line pretty formed, but again, bringing some stronger storms over towards Michigan. Nothing for us really in southern Wisconsin right now. 82, though, in Madison, about 84 in Janesville, 81 in Monroe, and it is a little breezy outside. These are our sustained wind speeds at 17 miles per hour in Mineral Point, so do know that our wind gusts are even higher than that, if you can hear the breeze behind me. A very clear cutoff with our dew points right now. You can see where that cold front is. 66 in Madison, but 47 in La Crosse. That's what's going to be sliding in this evening. It is going to be cooler overnight and much, much less muggy for Friday. Speaking of Friday, plan on sunshine and temperatures in the mid-70s. It really shouldn't be too bad of an afternoon. We'll take a closer look at what's ahead for your Labor Day weekend in just a few minutes. Right now on the roads, looking at the Beltline and Rimnot Rock, both east and westbound seem to be moving along okay. No major delays or accidents at this time along the Beltline. Nothing really throughout Dane County to pinpoint for any accidents right now. As far as your drive times getting through the area, if you do have to travel on the Isthmus, of course, give yourself a little extra time this evening, just as there are more folks there moving through downtown. Janesville looks okay. To get from Janesville to the Beltline, though, it'll take you 27 minutes, 18 to get from Sauk City to Middleton, and from Sun Prairie to downtown, a little longer than usual. 17 minutes on this windy evening. But temperature-wise, it feels like summer. We're just waiting for that humidity to drop off.
And keep an eye on some storms, perhaps. Yes. All right, Dana, thank you.
Thank you, Dana. First at 4, Florida's governor has declared a state of emergency as Hurricane Dorian picks up steam in the Atlantic Ocean and threatens to ruin Labor Day plans for millions of Americans along the East Coast. Nicole Killian has the latest.
Florida residents waited in long lines to stock up on food and fuel, gearing up for Hurricane Dorian.
I want to fill up my tank so that when it's time to go, I'll go.
I thought it was going to be a little bit later this week, but here we are.
The storm is expected to reach Category 4 strength with winds of 130 miles per hour before making landfall Labor Day.
We can't tell you exactly where this thing's going to go right now. It's been kind of here and there, and it's not been a very, I guess, consistent path in some respects.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has already declared a state of emergency in all 67 Florida counties. The mayor of Jacksonville stopped short of issuing evacuations.
I am issuing a mandatory prayer that this thing stays away from us.
Dorian is slowly barreling toward the U.S. after bringing heavy rains and wind to the U.S. Virgin Islands.
It's insane out here. I can't even barely hold the camera.
The storm caused widespread outages, but largely spared the region. Puerto Rico also avoided a direct hit. In Florida, residents like Elizabeth Soto loaded up on water, fearing stores may run out.
Preparedness, because you never know.
With Dorian still days away, the governor says the time to prepare is now. Nicole Killian, CBS News, Orlando, Florida.
Some airlines are issuing waivers, but so far airlines have canceled more than 80 flights within the U.S. When there is a natural disaster like the historic flooding we saw last year in Sauk County, local leaders say it can be difficult to get the support and assistance needed.
But Rose Schmidt is here to tell us about a new proposal at the state capitol aiming to help with that. Rose?
Yes, two Republican state lawmakers representing Reedsburg say they want to make sure communities are prepared for a natural disaster before it hits. This morning, they stood at a Reedsburg intersection that was underwater this time last year and announced a new proposal aiming to help local communities get federal assistance faster and easier. The bill would require all cities to sign up for a program that helps them get money from FEMA by June 2021. The proposal also adds an online option for cities to submit that information to get that federal money and requires the state to issue that money within 2 weeks of receipt.
Time is money. In a situation where there's a disaster, we want to expedite that process as soon as we can to get the funds back to our communities. That's the goal here, is to streamline the process and make it as efficient as possible.
Reedsburg's emergency management director says the paperwork to apply for assistance is time-consuming, and that city is still waiting on money from FEMA a year after flooding struck that community. The bill has just been formally introduced and has bipartisan support, with 2 Democrats signing on to a plan that is authored by Republicans.
All right, we'll see what happens. Rose, thank you.
Thank you, Rose. New at 4. A man has been arrested after allegedly trying to abduct a toddler months ago. 22-year-old James Sellers was arrested in Lake Delton for allegedly trying to abduct a toddler on May 11th. In May, the Lake Delton Police Department says a couple was awakened by a noise coming from their 2-year-old's bedroom. They later found the child outside of the home at the base of the window with minor injuries. Sellers was later arrested at his home in the Deer Run subdivision. He's facing charges of abduction of a child, 1 count of burglary, and 1 count of recklessly causing physical harm to a child.
The Milwaukee City's health department is urging residents to stop using vaping products after 16 people were hospitalized this month with a severe lung disease. Individuals hospitalized in August reported vaping in the weeks and months before they became ill with what's being called chemical pneumonia. The Wisconsin Department of Health Services says nearly 90% of all the cases involve THC. The THC products, that is. THC is the active ingredient in marijuana. Milwaukee County is one of 10 counties in the state reporting hospitalizations.
A new report in Wisconsin says there are fewer fully immunized students heading into the new school year. It shows nearly 92% of students meet immunization requirements, but that's down nearly half a percentage point from last year. Experts say the rate needs to be closer to 95% to better protect against diseases like measles. Speaking of, doctors in Europe are warning of a surge in measles cases. There were nearly 90,000 cases in 48 European countries in the first 6 months of this year. That's more than double the number in the same period last year. Measles is among the world's most infectious diseases and is spread most commonly by coughing, sneezing, and close personal contact. Doctors say people who refuse to be vaccinated are fueling the problem.
Don't understand the truth of the matter, but they also have misinformation about the effectiveness of vaccines and the safety of vaccines.
The United Nations Health Agency says nearly 365,000 cases have been reported globally this year, the highest figure since 2006. Measles killed more than 100,000 people worldwide in 2017.
The Department of Justice's Inspector General says former FBI Director James Comey violated agency policies when he retained and leaked a set of memos documenting meetings with President Trump early in 2017. A new Inspector General's report says what was not permitted was the unauthorized disclosure of sensitive investigative information obtained during the course of FBI employment in order to achieve a personally desired outcome. Comey testified to Congress. A tweet President Trump sent 3 days after the president fired him prompted him to take an unusual step. That's when Comey asked a friend, Columbia law professor Dan Richmond, to share the contents of his memos with a New York Times reporter.
I thought that might prompt the appointment of a special counsel.
This afternoon, President Trump tweeted, "Perhaps never in the history of our country has someone been more thoroughly disgraced and excoriated than James Comey in the just-released Inspector General's report. He should be ashamed of himself." Comey emphasized the report found no evidence that he mishandled classified information. He tweeted, "I don't need a public apology from those who defame me, but a quick message with a 'sorry we lied about you' would be nice." Law enforcement agencies across the country are searching for a modern-day Bonnie and Clyde. U.S. Marshals are offering a $20,000 reward for information leading to the capture of Blaine and Susan Barksdale. The husband and wife are accused of killing a man in Tucson, Arizona, and setting his home on fire back in April. U.S. Marshals arrested the couple in upstate New York, but as they were being transported back to Arizona, police say they overpowered two guards and broke out of the van. Investigators believe the pair traveling in a damaged red pickup truck and are considered armed and dangerous.
More local news now. If you noticed a lot of planes and helicopters in the sky today, it's nothing to be alarmed about. The National Guard is holding search and rescue training today in Adams and Sauk counties, including Devil's Lake State Park. National Guard members are working with the Department of Military Affairs, Wisconsin Emergency Management, and other agencies to practice better ways to help people in need.
It's definitely opened our eyes. It's expanded our toolbox. It's awesome that we have this resource that's available to us.
Baraboo rope teams were able to work with a helicopter to practice real-life situations at Devil's Lake State Park. The Wisconsin Historical Society is preserving local history
and making it accessible for everyone, one newspaper at a time. Madeline O'Neill got a behind-the-scenes look at the massive undertaking of digitizing old papers. Maddie?
Well, Mark and Susan, it's a lot of work. There's a lot of papers, and the Society has a new grant to continue its project of getting Wisconsin newspapers online and searchable using old papers and microfilms. So far, the Society has digitized more than 210,000 pages, including the Mineral Point Tribune, the Dodgeville Chronicle, and several other local publications since 2015. Getting them on the National Library of Congress Chronicling America database makes them keyword searchable and accessible to everyone.
Especially when I think about students, it gives them much more access to what happened at home. And I think that's important also to get students interested in history, just because it is part of their history.
Historians say it's a fun process. You really get to know local communities and see old jokes, fashion styles, and learn fun facts. Just for example, in 1922, one school banned jazz music at dances. We'll hear more of those tonight at 5 and hear how the Society is sharing that information and preserving history.
Yes, we've got to preserve history, that's for sure.
Cool project.
Yeah, Maddie, thank you.
Thank you, Maddie. There's more at 4 when we come back. For most families, summer is waning now. The school year starts after Labor Day.
And for some families, that means the first day of kindergarten. Our guests will have advice on dealing with this milestone for students and parents as well. Stay with us.
A new report from AAA shows the number of deaths from red light running crashes is on the rise.
This video shows a worst-case scenario, a white Lexus plowing into an SUV at a high rate of speed and running a red light at a Los Angeles area intersection. The impact sent the SUV onto its roof, killed its driver. AAA says new research shows the number of deaths resulting from drivers running red lights is at a 10-year high. AAA analyzed all red light crashes from 2017, the most recent data available, and found 939 people were killed nationwide, a 28% increase from just 5 years earlier.
Drivers are distracted, they're impatient, and they're reckless, and they're making the decision to run a red light instead of safely stopping.
AAA's research also found while 85% of drivers view red light running as dangerous, nearly 1 in 3 said they ran a red light within the past month, even when they knew they could have safely stopped. Stocks rose on Wall Street as trade talks with China seem more likely. The Dow Industrials gained 326 points, closing at 26,362. The NASDAQ Composite Index jumped 113. The S&P 500 added 36. Well, the very first day of kindergarten is a very big deal.
Yes, it is. The big transition can be scary for a kindergartner and even more so for the parents of a kindergartner. So how do you make the first day of school a success? Beth Grau is the Sorensen Professor of Early Childhood Education at UW-Madison, and she is a former kindergarten teacher herself. Beth, welcome to Live at 4.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Nice to see you. So this really is a momentous milestone.
It is.
Is it still as big a step as it's always been?
It is. And I think it's probably more traumatic for parents. Children, I mean, it is a change for children, but there's this halo around kindergarten that regardless of how much child care experience or whether the child went to 4K, it's the start of real school.
And I think it's because every parent knows they're in diapers 1 minute and then the next minute they're going to school. And that transition of them growing up you're almost in a state of denial about it for a long time.
And you're afraid that when they come back on the bus, they'll have a driver's license and get ready to go.
Exactly.
When I was growing up, eons ago, there was no daycare, there was no preschool. We just went to kindergarten. That was the first time actually being away from home.
Yep.
It was pretty traumatic.
Yes.
So is it as bad now as it was then?
I think it's a different kind of experience now. I think children recognize being away from home and being part of a group for the most part, and following directions from somebody that isn't in their family. But the pace of kindergarten, I think, is the thing that children experience in a way that can be overwhelming at times. So even if a child has been in childcare since 6 weeks old, kindergarten asks children to respond in particular ways to activities in a classroom.
So how can you prepare them for that?
I think that there's a lot of kind of laying the groundwork so they know what to expect. So doing things like having them get up at the same time that they're going to get up every day. Don't leave that to the last day. Driving them or walking them the way that they're going to go to school, so that if they're going to walk, they know where to go. And if they're on the bus, they can start finding marks so they know what to expect. Having them practice being self-reliant, doing things like putting their own shoes on, putting their backpack on. Putting a backpack on is really complicated, particularly when you're almost the same size as the backpack. So having them have a strategy to do that is really good.
And do you think parents have to check their own emotions and be positive and not get, too emotional and upset?
I think that helps the child to do that. I remember my 26-year-old, when he went to kindergarten, as soon as he got on the bus, which he did kicking and screaming, I just burst into tears.
I did too.
And I managed to wait until he got on the bus. But I think holding it together for them is something that's going to give them a lot of ease.
But a step forward.
Yep, exactly.
Big step. Yeah.
You still cry when Matthew goes to college.
Oh, I still do. I mean, what you just said is exactly what happened. I blinked my eye, and he was driving a car, and now he's in college. But it's such a joyous milestone too.
It really is exciting. What I would tell parents is enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because 5- and 6-year-olds are, I think, the top level of human development.
Pure sugar.
Yep, exactly.
Beth, thanks for being with us.
Great
today.
to see you, Beth. Have a great year.
Thanks.
There's more to come at 4, including a preview of the final Packers preseason game.
We'll join Melissa Kim at Lambeau Field, and then coming up tonight at 5, city and county leaders are coming together to clean up area beaches. We'll tell you how they're trying to make it safer to swim.
Well, take a look at this. The Packers need to keep their eye on this kid from Pennsylvania. The pint-sized Pee Wee League baller takes off and makes not 1 but 2 behind-the-back ball moves before running it in for the TD. The moves are so pretty, the highlights aired on ESPN.
That's incredible.
That's so cute.
How old are they?
Pee Wee, I don't know, what does he look like?
He looks like a bobblehead with a helmet. Yes, a little.
Oh, that's so cute.
Welcome back.
Okay, now we promise Dana and I are not calling each other.
It's not planned. It's not planned.
This is what happened on Tuesday. Let's take a look. Pink.
Yep.
Ladies in pink.
Right.
Now let's take a look at yesterday.
We did
so
Wednesday.
That was
No, that was Tuesday.
That was Tuesday.
Ladies in polka dots.
We did polka dots.
And now today, I look.
And then today, somehow...
We're quickly approaching morning show status.
We really are. We really are.
But this is not, they plan it.
They plan it. They have texts and emails, and it's all coordinated. And
I got blue shoes.
Blue suede shoes, even. I don't know how this happens.
We'll see we'll get off tomorrow, so.
Yeah. I'll pop in. I'll bring Penny in. We'll just see if it happens. If it works out. Oh my gosh.
We're on the same wavelength.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny. Suka, we're in blue again.
How does that happen?
All right. Enough about the clothes. How about some content?
So the weather. We do have a few dark clouds outside. There's a slight chance for an isolated shower, but that chance is dwindling this evening. Your forecast right after the break. Of course, Hurricane Dorian, a big topic of conversation right now for folks across the southeast, specifically in Florida. Right now, a strong Category 2 hurricane as it continues to travel first northwest and then shifting for more of a little west flow. It's going to strengthen quite a bit over that warm water. Expecting this storm to make landfall sometime on Monday as a Category 4 hurricane. This cone of uncertainty covering a lot of space, so that state of emergency in effect for all the counties in Florida right now, because as it crosses over, that storm surge is going to be a concern to the north, but they'll be dealing with some very strong wind gusts, of course, well into the 100-mile-per-hour range. Strong, the chance for the storm surge and also the chance for flooding throughout the state. For us, we did have a slight chance for some showers and thunderstorms this evening, but thankfully that chance has really dwindled down. Seeing mostly those storms well off to the east into Michigan. We did have a few showers earlier towards Green Bay, but right now a dry sky for our Doppler track. A few dark clouds, but not really looking at the chance to see any more showers pop on up. 82 for us in Madison. It is warm. It's also a little humid. Our dew points are in the mid 60s, but just to the north and west, those dew points are in the upper 40s right now around La Crosse, and that's where that cold front divide is. Our dew points are going to steadily fall through the evening, and by tomorrow it'll be much less humid, also much cooler outside. Still a little breezy. Those wind speeds, sustained wind speeds at about 12 miles per hour. So this cold front drives through, storm chances stretching north and east of of us right now. It clears on out to the east, and tomorrow our high pressure kind of ridges on in, keeps things pretty cool and clear for Friday. We should have a really nice end to the work week. Heading into Labor Day weekend, the first part of Labor Day weekend for Saturday, we will have another chance for some showers to creep in. But by Sunday and Monday, things should be pretty calm. There is still a slight risk for severe weather looking at the northern edge of Illinois and the southeast corner of the state. Again, that cold front right now still driving southeast. So anything that does pop up during the heat of the day, we could have the chance for some heavier rain or some wind gusts. But again, a really, really small chance for us right now. Tomorrow with that clear sky, things should be nice and calm and quiet. A little bit of a breeze from the northwest to start your day on Friday. We get a lot of sunshine for Friday. Looking into Saturday morning, some clouds start to build on in, and our shower chances likely going to stay to the south. Our shower chances have really been diminishing. That's good news, of course, for your Saturday for Labor Day weekend. Overnight low temperatures will fall quite a bit because we will have a mostly clear sky in the mid-50s to start off Friday. And then in the afternoon, it'll be a little cooler outside in the low 70s for afternoon highs. Heading into Saturday morning, we start to have the cloud coverage build back in. It won't be nearly as cool to start off the day on Saturday. And then in the afternoon, of course, will be the chance for the showers, mainly south of Madison. And we just fall with that cold front and mostly clear sky. No steady temperatures for us tonight. Our wind speeds will calm down a bit overnight, though. That's the good news. Right now, of course, they're in the teens, getting down to the single digits for us overnight, anywhere from 5 to 10 miles per hour with a mostly clear sky. It is going to be a little cooler early in the day in the low 50s early on Friday, and then in the afternoon, the mid to low 70s for afternoon highs with a mostly sunny sky. Just, again, a little cooler outside where wind speeds anywhere from 6 to 12 miles per hour, so not too windy. Chance for us on Saturday for some showers, but it really is staying closer to the state line for right now. Sunday, we're looking at a partly sunny sky, mid-70s for afternoon highs. Labor Day, Monday, close to 80, so it'll be a little warmer, a little more seasonable. We'll look at a partly sunny sky for Monday. Now by Tuesday, we have another chance for showers creeping back in. It'll be humid again. We get a break in the rain on Wednesday with another chance for rain returning on Thursday. But temperature-wise, we're in a really nice spot as we look towards the end of August and head into September. That's a quick look at your forecast.
Summer's over. But it's almost the weekend in the 608. That's the good news.
Madison Magazine's Joel Patnod is here with a look at what's going on around town this weekend. Hi, Joel. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
We'll start with a big Labor Day weekend tradition in Madison.
Yeah, since 1983, Taste of Madison has been bringing tens of thousands of food lovers to the Capitol Square to sample the offerings of local restaurants. And this weekend, more than 80 establishments and another 24 beverage stands will be on hand. And with each small plate costing $5 or less, you can afford to sample several vendors' food or feed the entire family affordably.
Yeah,
so
it's a good
that's
time.
Saturday and Sunday.
And music, all sorts of good stuff.
Yeah, 3 stages of music.
Speaking of music, Madison legend is celebrating his birthday again.
Yes, yes. Ben Sidran's 75th, or second annual 75th birthday celebration is at the Majestic Theater tonight. Yes, he's 75 and holding. But having had a long musical career that in jazz and rock that has included being in the Steve Miller Band, recording with Eric Clapton and the Rolling Stones, and putting out more than 30 solo albums, Ben Sidran can claim to be whatever age he wants.
That's exactly right.
Now, he's lived in Madison since the late 70s, but he doesn't perform here too often. So take this opportunity to hear him with a full band, and that's tonight at the Majestic.
Very good. And then there's more music at the Majestic Saturday night, right?
Yes. So back on Saturday, that's Friday night, or tonight rather. Saturday night is the 3rd annual Respect, a celebration of women in music. And that's where a baker's dozen female vocalists will bring to life on one stage some of the most iconic women artists in American music. The review will include songs by Beyonce, Brandi Carlile, Ella Fitzgerald, Amy Winehouse, Bonnie Raitt, among others.
That is a celebration of women's music.
It is.
All right.
Saturday night.
And a hootenanny. What's this?
This is a first annual at the High Noon Saloon on Sunday. It's the Great Midwestern Hootenanny, starting at 2 p.m., running till midnight. More than a dozen bluegrass, Americana, and jam bands will play, and an assortment of food trucks will be on hand to help sustain the audience members over that many hours. So if you want to be at the first Hootenanny, be there Sunday.
You can say I was there.
Yeah,
it's the first one. Joel, have a great holiday weekend.
Thanks, Joel. Good
Thank
to see
you.
you.
Get this month's Madison Magazine for all the best in the Madison area.
When we come back, we're heading to Lambeau Field.
It is the Packers' last preseason game. They take on Kansas City. Our Melissa Kim is in Green Bay. She'll have a preview of the game when Live at 4 continues.
That's a live picture right now from Cocoa Beach, Florida. It's a beautiful
day. It's always
today.
like that before the hurricane comes. It's always very nice.
It's the calm before the storm. Right. It's going to be they're keeping a very close eye on that for the weekend. The Green Bay Packers are preparing to play their final game of the preseason tonight in Green Bay against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Our Melissa Kim is live at Lambeau Field with a preview of tonight's game. Good afternoon, Melissa. I guess the big question is Aaron Rodgers playing tonight?
Well, good afternoon, guys. Yeah, it's a beautiful day here in Green Bay here first to start. It's like upper 70s, a little bit warmer than the first preseason game than we were here at the last time we were here at Lambeau. Now, yes, of course, the big question, will Aaron Rodgers play? The answer to that is most likely not. Most of the starters actually probably won't be playing at all tonight because those guys have had the experience. They've locked up their starting roles here on the team. So especially for Aaron Rodgers, you know, this is his 15th season entering the NFL. If he hasn't gotten it down by now, probably not a good sign, but you know, the team obviously has confidence in him. Matt LaFleur has a ton of confidence in him, so we will most likely not see any of the starters playing in tonight's preseason finale.
Yeah, you think back a couple of years ago when Jordy Nelson got hurt in the preseason. I think that's in the back of a lot of people's minds.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Yes,
Melissa,
of course.
How important,
the risk.
How important do you think it is for the Packers to play well tonight?
Definitely going to be really important. You know, the guys that are going to be playing tonight, they are the guys that are trying to earn roster spots here. If you think back to last season's preseason finale, you had guys like Raven Green, Robert Tonyan. Those guys earned their spot on the team during preseason. So there are a couple spots still up for grabs on the 53-man roster. The Packers have been making a lot of moves, waivers, getting new guys in the last couple weeks. A lot of experimentation, I think, if you will, in the last few weeks. So I think that tonight's going to be very important for those guys that are fringe players, especially guys that really want to earn a permanent spot on this team.
And they, I assume, getting ready for the big game next Thursday against the Bears for the season opener.
That's when it all counts.
Oh, absolutely. You know, earlier this week, Aaron Rodgers actually talked about looking ahead to Chicago. You know, he was thinking about the short week already next week because they are opening their regular season on a Thursday night. Matt LaFleur already talking about Chicago next week. So any guy who's a starter on this team already looking ahead to next Thursday night at Soldier Field. That's a game that the Packers won last season at the beginning of the year, but the last time they were at Soldier Field in mid-December didn't really end too well for anyone in green and gold. So definitely a lot of focus, a lot of attention on that regular season opener next Thursday, guys.
Well, we'll be watching tonight live from Lambeau. Melissa, thank you.
Looks like a beautiful night in Green Bay.
Thank you.
Have fun, Melissa. Thanks so much.
Absolutely.
When we come back, finding better ways to protect communities from future flooding.
We'll find out what's being done in western Wisconsin when Live at 4 continues.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
Most of the area looks okay right now, but there are a few spots that we're keeping an eye on. There is an accident on 151. Otherwise, the Beltline, of course, just seeing a little slowdowns on the eastbound side, westbound side near Fish Hatchery Road, and then conditions improve greatly along the westbound side the further west you go. The left lane on 151 north right now, there is an accident that has the left lane blocked. You can see traffic backed up quite a bit on the northbound side. Southbound seems okay right now, and then northbound again slowing down even beyond that accident just due to the usual traffic. Down near Janesville, there is a disabled vehicle on the side of the road there on 3990 heading southbound. Right now there aren't any lanes blocked though at all. It doesn't seem to be causing any traffic congestion. Downtown Janesville, a few more folks on the road, so it's going just a little slower, but again, no major delays. 27 minutes to get from Janesville to the Beltline, 16 minutes from Sauk City to Middleton, and that drive from Sun Prairie to downtown's picked up quite a bit, about 20 minutes for you this evening. That's a quick look at traffic.
All right, Jenna, thank you. Look at this incredible video showing boaters fleeing from an erupting volcano in Italy. It's like something out of a disaster movie. The eruption was on Stromboli Island, a small island off the coast of Sicily. The massive explosion sent a plume of smoke over a mile into the sky. Residents reported local firefighters were using seaplanes to put out the flames. Despite the dramatic imagery, amazingly, no injuries have been reported.
Wow, that is incredible video.
You see that coming at you?
Amazing.
Good grief. Well, last August, historic rainfall devastated parts of southeastern Minnesota and western Wisconsin.
At the peak of last year's flood, some of the dams couldn't keep up, which is leading some officials to consider other options. Mal Meyer explains how officials are hoping to find better ways to protect their communities for the next time.
It's just devastating.
I didn't know it was going to flood that bad.
As the sun rose, residents were salvaging what they could.
Some of these homes will never be able to be lived in again.
It's around that time that Bob McKeel got the first phone call.
One of the landowners said his dam is gone.
Coon Creek 29.
When it gave away, it was devastating.
This dam is designed to handle 5.4 inches of rain over a 6-hour period.
What really is the issue is the intensity of the rain events.
It was record-breaking rain.
An initial line of storms in the early evening contributed to the problem.
And then overnight, the rain just continued to fall on those same areas and resulted in the extreme flooding.
Steep terrain and wet soil conditions created rapid runoff.
And intense rainfall rates that really increase the flash flooding threat in this area.
The water pools behind the dam, only coming over top when there's too much water.
During that storm event, you'd be standing in about 6 inches of water.
The slope eroded away, kicking out debris downstream.
Ultimately, a town road blew out. Nobody could go down through here.
At first, the dam held back until...
I think down here is where you're going to get your grasp of, holy crap, this is big.
It breached.
And then all of a sudden, races down the valley floor, 15 feet high.
In all, there were 3 dams that breached and 3 that were damaged.
That is being repaired as we speak.
In October, Bob McKeel met with residents from the township of Portland to talk about what needed to be done.
The consensus of the townspeople was to go ahead with these repairs.
When the water rushed down, it moved foundations, blew out bridges, and eroded riverbanks. The price tag for this little township was hefty.
Real cost was over $1.15 million.
He says that's over twice the annual budget.
It affects a lot of folks downstream. It's for the safety and the well-being of the residents of Portland and also our neighboring counties.
The dams that had more minor damage were fixed this year, while the structures that breached will be stabilized and debris cleared away. Major repair work will have to hold off for now, because what if there was a better way to rebuild?
That's a good question. There's a lot of opinions out there on that.
Because while these dams were meant to last...
And they did. In 50, 60 years, a lot of them. But they've never been tested like this before.
Bob McKeel and other officials have proposed looking at the whole picture of the watershed.
The last one was in the 50s, with 1958 to be exact.
He's hoping a new watershed study with funding from the Natural Resource Conservation Service will provide insight into how to rebuild, and not just the dams, because this area is not what it used to be.
There's more building.
more roads.
Farming has changed.
Today we're rotating farms.
More people using the valleys.
And as far as flood risk, we're putting people at risk if we allow that to happen.
And we need to prepare for more extreme rain events.
Something's going on, things are changing.
Maybe we need to, too.
We're never going to design to the storm events that are occurring now.
Instead, we need to be prepared for the future of flooding. For News 3 Now, I'm Mel Meyer.
The Monroe County Land Conservation Department is supposed to hear any day now about the funding for the watershed study.
If it does get funded, it'll take anywhere from 2 to 3 years to complete. No flooding in our forecast. We'll get a recap right after this. Kind of humid out there.
A little warm, a little humid right now. Unfortunately, those shower chances that we were watching build to the north of us really didn't develop for us down here in southern Wisconsin. Here's a live look from our WISC-TV Skycam. A few clouds. A few of them have had some darkness to them, but no rain popping up really in southern Wisconsin over the last several hours. Here's a look right now at our Doppler track. Showers and thunderstorms off to the west in Michigan. Or east, excuse me, in Michigan. But for southern Wisconsin, we're staying pretty okay with the storm chances. Temperatures are warm, 82 in Madison, 84 in Janesville right now, 83 in Lone Rock. The biggest difference for us is where the dew points cut off. Still very windy outside. Sustained wind speeds close to 21 miles per hour in in Lone Rock, and in Janesville, 18 miles per hour Mineral Point. But there's that dew point cutoff. Notice it's at 66 in Madison and in Janesville, but 47 for Black River Falls and La Crosse.
There's the front.
More comfortable, yes. So a clear divide there where the front is at. That's what we're going to be able to enjoy overnight and heading into tomorrow. It is going to be more comfortable, less humid. Temperatures will be a little lower, and we get a lot of sunshine also for your Friday. So be able to enjoy the day outside.
That would be great. Yeah. All right, Dana, thank you.
Dana.
Well, tomorrow here on Live Before, we'll preview the new drama After the Wedding that opens in theaters this weekend.
And our Michael Bruno will be here to talk about a new program at the Overture Center that helps students explore the arts. That's coming up tomorrow on Live at 4. In today's Final Touch, we ask the question, isn't it time for beer pong to be more environmentally friendly?
We say yes. In an effort to bring sustainable fun to house parties, drinkware brand Ball is upping the beer pong game with reusable cups. The aluminum cups are shaped like the infamous red cups typically used for the drinking game,